Right, so hey everyone, and welcome back to another budget photography video. So, mobile phones, they're pretty great, aren't they? I mean, I love my mobile phones, whether that's iPhone or my Galaxy Fold. But there's only so much technology that you can cram into these little tiny cameras. Now, yes, phone cameras, well, the modules at least, are getting bigger and bigger. But again, you can only do so much, unlike something like this, a more professional camera. This is obviously the Canon R6. I'm going to move back a little bit more because the sun was in my eyes. There we go, that's better. So, what can we do to improve this? Well, I'm going to come straight out of the gate and go, we're going to put a gimbal on it, but not just any old gimbal. Well, it's old because, well, this is budget photography, and it wouldn't be budget photography if we didn't have something budget. You get my point. Now, we're not going to put a normal gimbal on it. We're going to put the Mavic. We're going to put the Osmo 3. The Osmo 3 right here. I love this thing. Now, yes, there are still 2 more generations since the Osmo 3 came out. I believe they're now on the 5. But for me personally, not enough has really changed between the 3 and the 5 that I clearly don't have. I mean, first of all, this sizing, it's basically the same size and the same weight. Maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit lighter, but this does the job, and I paid around £70 for it about a year ago. No, about 2 years ago actually. Now, here's the thing. This came out in about 2017, 2018, when the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10 were just being announced. So, as a consequence, this can only hold up to 200 grams of weight. My 13 Pro Max, however, is 240 grams, but in my case it does hold the weight, and it holds it pretty well, if I'm quite frankly honest. Now, it has a really simple setup procedure. You can just spread out the jaws like that, make sure it's kind of in the middle, yeah, about there, stretch out the arms, and then push the power button just down the bottom here, 1, and a long hold, and the gimbal comes on. Now again, this is a 240 gram phone, and it's holding it really well. Now it has vertical, and it also has landscape view, meaning that yes, you can get nice stable shot. Now, you can use your phone's inbuilt camera if you would like to, just like that. Or you can use the DJI camera app as well. Now, if you decide to use the DJI camera app, which is really good, especially on iPhone, not so good on Android, unfortunately. They do really design these things for Android phones, but if you do decide to use it and you've got a 13 and above, you will not get 4K 60 or ProRes. You just won't. It shoots 4K, but it is not 60, and it is not in that RAW format. So if you want that RAW format, you're going to have to stick to your normal phone camera. But even with just the phone camera itself, if I just come over here and we spin around a little bit, look how stable that is. Now I'm just holding it. And again, if I walk away a bit, so there's the camera setup, and I can bring it round, and hey look, there's a little duck there. Oh, he's not happy to see me. This lake is not the best, but it does the job. And it's pretty stable, if I'm honest. Like, the footage is really quite nice, and it's, you know, you can't, I mean, it's basically just a gimbal, and that's exactly kind of, yeah. Now, it does have lots of other tricks about it that I'm going to show you that are actually really rather, well, they're frankly quite cool really, and one of them is my favorite. So let's get to it. Okay, so the app that you want is the one down here, the DJI Mimo Mijo, I don't know. And it comes out like that. That's exactly what happens when you connect everything up. So this is what you're going to see when you set everything up. This is really, really good. And I as I said, I really like it. Now, one of the features, I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see, there we go. It has immediately done it, and I love it. If I just look at that, I can walk around and it keeps me in frame, meaning that if I want to just do that, and then let's step over here, let's test this range so that I can step all the way over here. I'm using the selfie camera, I can walk over here, just like that, and it's almost like having a cameraman. Oh, it has lost me. Can you re-establish? Now, as I've just clearly shown, it does have its problems. It does. It's a few years old. It is not as good as the modern ones. It's never going to be. And also you need to remember, it is using the front-facing camera rather than the telecameras and the LiDAR that this phone has. Whew. This is a lot to say, but I absolutely love this feature. I'm walking around freely, and I don't have a cameraman, as you can see. There's no, look, there's my camera, that's the R6, and you've lost me. And it's picked me back up again. It's re-established. So that is my favorite feature, but there is more. There is a lot more to do. So let's come back down here. Let's stop this recording. Okay, so I showed you the face tracking, well, the object tracking, which again is still my favorite. But look at this. We are now in vertical mode, meaning that if you want to go and do your little tickety-tocs or your little Insta reels with, you know, these tracking features, then you can. And it's as simple as just, turning, ooh, haha, it refused. As just turning, why are you now refusing? And it is as simple as just turning your phone like that. How cool is that? Turn my phone back again and I'm in portrait. So we have a fair few other things, and I'm going to turn the camera around. So you're going to see now the back cameras, which automatically look better. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you guys is this dynamic zoom. And it's pretty cool, as you can actually see from the demonstration. So if I push done, and then we use the camera again, we're going to use the camera as a person today, and then we push record on the gimbal, you can see it pulling the zoom into the camera. Now I can push stop. It's going to take a minute to create the video, and you will see the results. When it actually wants to, you know, work. Because it's taking a while. Because, you know, of course it is. But that's fine. We have time. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go into play, and we can show, and I can show you what it looks like. As you can see, it's pulling in, just kind of like, I think it's called a dolly zoom or whatever, I don't know. But that's another thing that I really like. And then there's the actual controls for the gimbal itself. So the controls for the gimbal itself are really rather simple, actually. I mean, here on the side, we have a zoom button that zooms you in all the way until you can't zoom anymore, but also will zoom you back out again. You can see it changing cameras. And that is just, that's nice and easy. It's nice and easy for your thumb to reach, because you can just knock it up and pull it down again. And also you've got this button, this little trigger back here. And now if I put the camera, well, the phone, sorry, over there, and I know, let's say I'm doing a shot that's sideways up, but I want to bring it back to me. All I've got to do double tap the trigger, and I've mucked up the shot. Let's try that again. So I've got a shot up here and I want to bring it back. Double tap and it comes straight back, just like that. A triple tap, 1, 2, 3, actually turns on the rear camera, meaning a triple tap again turns on the front facing camera. It's as easy as that. So easy. Then we have the main controls. Now the main controls are again incredibly easy to get to. They're all here, all within your thumb's reach. So you've got this little tiny dial thing here. You can push left to go left, right to go right. Then pigeons are getting a bit close. And again, up and down. You can push down to go down and up to go, well, up, really. And again, because we're up here, I can just go on the back here, double tap, that was a triple, and it brings the camera back down. Here we have the record button that will, well, record, which is really cool. Let's turn that around. No, we can't do it in recording. Okay, that's fine, I was just wondering. So let's stop recording. And then we have the button here. This button here powers off the gimbal. You push once and hold. Simple as that. And it's the same for switching it on. Look, I'll do it again and I'm going to increase my ISO just so you guys can see. So you push it once and then you push it again and hold and the gimbal comes back on. Zoom that back out. There we go. It's incredibly simple. Now, as I said, this isn't really supposed to support the amount of weight that it's actually holding. It was only ever designed to support around 200 grams, as I said in the beginning, but it is currently holding 240 grams. It does sometimes struggle with things. It just does because of just how heavy this phone is, but I don't really put that down to the gimbal, I put that down to my phone and kind of user error, but I'm surprised that it still does everything that it does. Okay, so it does turn out that I was wrong, actually. It does record in 4K 60 FPS, which is great, really. I mean, there we go. That's now 4K 60 FPS. You can see in the corner, just, hang on, let me just there. 4K 60 FPS. Oh, haha, loads of birds. And that's great. And we also have a little microphone status just here. We have the status of the gimbal and we have the status of the device that we are using, which again is really great. So you can see that this the gimbal itself, if I cover over, there we go, you can see it a bit better now. You can see that just there, the gimbal is really kind of full up on battery, really. And I rarely charge this. I think in the year or two that I've had it, I think I've charged this about 3 times, which is kind of nuts, really. I mean, to be fair, I don't really use it. I think this is the longest that it's been on in about 6 months because I use it and then kind of, you know, switch it off, but it is what it is. I can't really praise this thing enough because there's more. There's more. You obviously need to charge the device. So just here, you have USB-C. Now, it's not the best USB-C, but USB-C charging. And you can charge it from a battery bank. You can charge it from a battery bank, which is exactly what I usually do because I'm usually out and about and I want to top it up to make sure that it doesn't die. So I just kind of connect it to a battery bank, it charges, and I'm away. It's great. Now, if you don't have a battery bank with you, this can be your battery bank. Now, don't expect it to give you a lot of juice, but behind this little thing, zoom in, just here, you can see a little casing, and there's a USB-A port just there, where you can plug in your own phone to charge your phone. You plug it into there, and then get that little silly thing back on. And then you can just plug it into there because the gimbal doesn't cover the charging port of the phone, even on something as big as the 13 Pro Max. It is crazy. Now, as I said, newer models do more than this. They just will. They're going to be newer, their batteries will probably last longer than this one, but if you want the basics and lots of other cool features, then the Osmo 3 is epic, really. It's nice, it's small, it's compact, it lasts a really, really, really long time. And it's cheap. It really is cheap. I picked this up about £70 about 2 years ago now, and it's about 4 years old. So you could probably pick up the 4 if you wanted to for around the same price, I'm guessing. Or you can save even more money. You could probably pick this up for around, I'd say 50 quid. Easy 50 quid. Actually, let's go onto Computer Exchange and have a look, shall we? So, the Computer Exchange app, and then we want, what is it? DJI Osmo 3. So let's search that up. They're not them ones. Ah, here it is. So yes, Osmo 3 for £55. How good is that? Now, I do want to bring up one big bad thing, and that is, well, Androids. Androids. Because let's kind of face it, really. This kind of product was made for the iPhone. It just was. It literally has made for iPhone on the box. Now, they do come with, you know, there is an Android app, but notoriously Android apps are very, very bad, especially the, you know, the camera bit of it. It's not bad, but it's not amazingly good. I'm trying to be nice to Android because I'm really tempted to switch full-time to my Android phone because I do like it. I really do, but there's a few things. Anyway, the cameras are bad because of developers. It's not the Android's fault. It's not the phone's fault. I think the phone on my Galaxy Fold is a better camera all round for me than the camera on my iPhone. I think it's better. I just do. But in-app optimization for cameras is way better on the iPhone. So my recommendation, if you want something like this, you're going to need an iPhone, which kind of spoils it really, because you're meant to be able to just kind of put this in your bag, put this in your pocket, and off you go. And you can with an Android. You really can. But with a modern iPhone, again, the weight of it, best advice really for this, get a second-hand iPhone that doesn't have a full display, maybe an 11 at the, you know, at the earliest phone. If you want to go further back, you could probably go maybe an 8, maybe a 7. Yeah, I reckon an 8 actually. An 8 or a 7 up to the 11 is when I'd say iPhone-wise, you can use this. You can use an iPhone 12 Pro Max, 13s, you know, stuff like that. But they are a very heavy phone, so use it at your own risk. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this very long video. I'll see you in the next one.